All right.
All right, welcome to Vikings Banter. We are out here coming up on Packers week, which is what we've always wanted. Late in the
Yep.
season, everything's on the line. Every game's a playoff game basically from here on out. Um, I'm back in Minnesota right now, so I'm feeling all the feels. It's great.
Likewise, I am as well over in the Inver Grove Heights area. um,
So
enjoying
watching
the.
some of these other games, like, do you get more optimistic from what we saw like during Christmas and stuff? Where's your head at?
Are you talking about our team?
Yeah, just like even like the playoff picture a little bit like that. I think
Yeah.
watching everybody else play, I just continue to get more optimistic about like where we match up. The Lions continue to get like more battered up. We seem to be becoming more healthy as the days go by. Um, a lot is gonna, this going into a Packers game is one of those games where like everyone's gonna beat the crap out of each other. So
Yeah.
we got to stay healthy, during this and kind of look out for it. But the heat is on, and what else could we ever ask for, like at this part of the season, to be completely in?
Totally in. We have an opportunity to go get the number one seed if we win the next two. It's still on the table. We talked about it last week. We need to win out and get that number one seed. So we're a third of the way there now. So we need two more wins here. We at home against the Packers, which mind you is going to be a big draw. I would say 30-40% of the crowd will be Packer fans, unfortunately. That's just how it
Yeah.
works. With a border battle game like that, just brings out the green and gold faithful out there. So unfortunately, that's just how it's been with Packer Viking games for years and years.
And these tickets
But
are crazy expensive to this game.
stupid. Yeah. It's like $500 for your
The crappy
nosebleed,
seat in the house.
$600. Yeah. The worst. Yeah. So it's just not even. No question, this will be something that we need to go get.
Before we jump into that, though, watching the way that we handled Geno Smith and the Seahawks, who what their entire season was on the line. They're
Yeah,
not that bad. They've definitely had flashes of greatness, and to watch us be able to put them to rest uh,
yeah,
when the time was needed. That was a fun game to watch.
hmm definitely exciting. Kept it close to the wire there. We needed one drive. We were down by three. Went down the field and scored right away with ease, and then they got the ball back. Went three and out, and then we had an opportunity to put the game away if we just got one first down. Then we ended up punting it to them late in the game. Darnold took a sack. That's what I'm really worried about, actually, is like how easily Darnold takes sacks. That's a concern I have. He goes down way too easily. I guess only Mahomes and Jalen Hurts go down easier than Sam Darnold. So we're 30th in the league with that, with sack percentage based on pressures. So that's a big concern.
Oh, interesting.
Worry about yeah. So if you put him under pressure, he'll probably topple him. Or it's something like to the tune of 40% or something like that. But
Well,
that's
the
a
big thing
concern. And
about
then we still
him
get a
is
lot of
at least he doesn't put us.
internal pressures though. The left side looked really weak last week. Um, and the Packers have a nice pass rush. Their defense, 34-0 last game against the Saints. They pulled a shutout. Amazing job by the green and gold against a weak Saints team, but they're riding really high right now. Looks like they're playing well.
Right.
But you can throw all that out the window again with Packer Viking weeks. Jordan Jefferson said it best. Justin Jefferson, excuse me, Jordan's his brother. He said it best. He goes, "Yeah, we hate them, they hate us. That's how it's going to be." Jair Alexander is not playing, so that's a big step for the Vikings. Their best cornerback not going is like pretty significant.
Yeah,
Um,
and we have everybody playing, right?
Essentially everyone. Yep. Ivan Pace looks like he's going to suit up. The only starter we don't have starting the year was Christian Darrisaw with that um, knee injury that was pretty bad, and that left tackle. But for the most part, Cam Robinson's played very serviceable as a backup in that position. So, but yeah, I mean, to get Ivan Pace back, it's
Gilmore.
shocking how healthy with us. Knock on wood right now that we
Yeah.
don't have more injuries going into it, but injuries are everything in the NFL. We've been very lucky to avoid them, while the Lions have a ton of guys on IR and a lot of guys like from the practice squad they had to call up and put in place. But
And we had a lot of guys, it's not like we didn't have injuries this year. We actually had pretty significant injuries. We just didn't actually feel the backlash from losing guys because a lot of people stepped into crucial roles and made it happen. Right. We saw
Yeah.
that. We keep on saying, like, oh, well, our defensive cornerbacks in that situation were like, we're light without depth. I'm like, I can't really say that because our depth like showed up and didn't get exposed every single time
Yeah.
that they needed to make it happen.
Totally, yeah. And then look at Theo Jackson icing the game with the interception late in the game. But that had all to do with the pressure we put on Geno Smith. So pretty cool to see that we're finally pressuring the quarterback. Dallas Turner, a nice interception as well. It's nice to see him come on late. But we have a lot of it's awesome to see a lot of depth on this team. Looks like Jalen Redmond's gonna go, but we had at defensive tackle, he was out last week, and we still put pressure on the quarterback, and it still looked good, still looks succinct. Our
Wait,
quarterback depth
are you
was
saying that we even
questioned.
have Pat Jones back?
Pat Jones is back. What's his name? Jalen Redmond's back.
Dude, this is a totally different team
Harrison's
than we've seen in 3 weeks then.
yeah, Harrison Smith will be back. Theo Jackson, I thought, stepped up really nicely and was very serviceable in what he was doing. He's the starter in any other team, by the way. So I'm feeling fine if we don't bring Harrison Smith back, even though he's been one of my favorite players of all time.
Yeah. You're
But
gonna have to realize that he's like, like when do you want to go out? What's comfortable? Where do your life want to be? If we win one, you retire, you try to come back and do it all over again. Uh,
right.
that's the special part about this team is the camaraderie is there, and
Uh-huh.
it all just happened overnight. Um, I would imagine if we go like deep in the playoffs, we have to be one of the most unique like teams with all these people for the first time being on a team. I would love to
Yeah.
see of the playmakers of people that impact the ball, how many like first times they've been on on this team. There
Yeah.
statistically have to be an outlier with that already
Yeah.
with the playoffs.
We've had insane free agency acquisitions. We have to tip our cap to quap our cap to Quasi at what he's done, bringing in guys like Rouge Hill, guys like Blake Cashman, who's been playing out of his mind, Van Ginkel out of his mind, Grenard, fantastic. And these are all, mind you, with the cap space that we had by getting rid of Kirk and Daniil Hunter. Daniil Hunter's kind of been pedestrian. He hasn't been as great as we've seen him in the past playing for the Texans. They
Yeah.
scored what? They had a safety last game. The Texans looked horrific. CJ Stroud, not that great of quarterback his sophomore year, but who knows? Maybe he'll rebound next year or whatever. But I'm very happy with what Quasi's done with this team. Have to tip your cap with him. But this team is totally swagged out. This is supposed to be a year where we're supposed to have 5 or 6 wins. And here we are sitting with 12 wins. We could get to we 13 wins, right? Yeah. We could get to 15-2 record, be first seed in the NFC with a first round bye if we just finish these next 2 games. That's so important for us. It's like we won a playoff game in the first round, right?
But then again, we have to be cautious because the Packers and Detroit can kind of like play some serious spoilers here.
Yes. So if we lose out and the Packers win out, the Packers are the number 5 seed and we're the 6 seed. So something to keep an eye on there. But
What did anything like as the Sam Darnold saga kind of continues, anything about him, continuing to like finish games? Your mind keep on changing with it? Where are you at with? And I even saw a weird little Twitter theory that we oddly have like a perfect spot for, again, we're bringing it back, but like Aaron Rodgers to come to this team now that everything blew up at the Jets. Is there any truth to any of that, or is everyone just wasting time talking about it?
I don't want to see Aaron Rodgers anywhere near Egan, Minnesota at all. I don't want that at all. I want us to ride with either Sam Darnold or JJ going into next year. Anything more than that is going to cause me to question what's going on. I don't want 2 years of Rodgers. I don't want 1 year. I don't want to rent a year with Rodgers. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I think we have to bring Sam Darnold back for 10 times over than bringing Rodgers in. He hasn't looked the same. He's kind of looked I don't know what's going on with his attitude. He's very like he's like pouty. They've had to he's made a lot of comments in the media. I don't want that hullabaloo around this organization at all. Bringing in Rodgers does nothing for me. We have to. I think what I saw today, this one was interesting. They just said it on Pro Football Focus or one of those organizations. They said, "Hey, let's sign Sam to a 3-year, $124 million deal." I like that a lot. And then we have JJ McCarthy sitting in the wings. Love it. I
Well,
think that gives us enough flexibility. Go ahead.
well, I had to go back and just readjust. I'm watching like JJ's college highlights.
Mhm.
It's a little bit of a mixed bag, but when he drives the ball downfield, he hits the spot. He
Right.
wins the game. He's the guy, he's the first guy to touch the ball in some of the biggest games in college football, and he took his team all the way to the championship and won, right? So all those parts, like he's a winner, he is all that. He's
Yeah.
also, watching him on Instagram, watching him handle this year is really interesting. He's a crazy hype guy. He's sharing like dope stats that Sam
Yeah.
Darnold is doing. He's
Yeah.
hyping everybody up on the team. He's playing his role. He's like he does a half blend of Vikings post and God posts and motivation posts. And to watch
Yeah.
him just not be moody and just like play his role and be a hype man even from the background like that, even if it's a little bit of fake but it doesn't seem like that. It seems pretty honest.
Mhm.
I go, okay, well, and then so then from there, I'm like, okay, I really do like who JJ is as far as like a face of the franchise. And I do think, regardless of Darnold being signed, I think he's the future face somehow in some way. But then I went back to when Kevin O'Connell's talking about him in the preseason. JJ basically was winning this job head to head with Sam Darnold in the preseason. He was playing as a second stringer, but he was still chopping up our defense as a second stringer with the second
Yeah.
string offense. So that makes me go, at the end of the day, the only way to actually win in this league, I think, is having cheap quarterbacks with great arsenal around you. I know that I said it before, but like I was a huge Sam Darnold. Now I'm starting to realize that we're just actually in a really blessed position. I think either way, but I do hope somehow we bring Sam Darnold back for a deal like you're talking about, this 3-year, 120 million something. That sounds like something you can't miss.
Right. If JJ McCarthy doesn't work out, it won't be because of his lack of work ethic. You could tell he's a hard worker. He's got insane intangibles. He's got that leadership skills. He's got some very interesting traits. A lot of people, um, don't really want to talk about or aren't maybe aware of. He throws the ball with great anticipation. He doesn't turn the ball over. He's very smart. He's cerebral. You could tell he's like a very studious student of the game type deal. They said, I mean, yeah, Kevin O'Connell made his comments. He goes, JJ's way ahead of where we had him in his development. That was in the preseason moving forward then. But this injury thing is a little weird one. You have to continue to monitor that. If they feel like he's getting more swelling or things aren't going the way they want him to, I think it's pretty difficult to throw him into the fire again. I think what I'm reading now, the team is more hesitant to do a franchise tag. It would be like a 3 or 4 year deal, which I'm fine with. The 3 year deal with like two of them being actual deals, with the third one being a garbage year, right? Or like one of those kicking the can down the road or a salary cap deal. That way we can sign a couple guys. I think the window that we have for championship is right now, and the more and more I think about it, I'm like, it's really tough for us to get rid of Darnold and the mojo that he's had with this team.
Mhm.
I think the team is comfortable with shelving JJ for another year or two,
Yeah.
and then if God forbid anything happens to Sam Darnold, an injury, we feel good about JJ stepping in immediately. Um, we'll have to see what happens with Daniel Jones, if that's a real thing, if they keep him around for another year or whatnot. We do get a supplemental pick if they don't, so there's just some
They
things to
keep on
monitor
saying
as well.
between Kevin O'Connell, Daniel Jones, um, Darnold, JJ, and then also like Josh McCown, right? Um,
Yeah, the quarterbacks coach. Yeah,
so they're like, dude, this is like one of the best quarterback rooms that anybody's ever been a part of. Of like
yeah,
these weird kind of tweener, high drafted, had
yeah,
a little bit of journeyman, got their shit kicked in a little bit in the NFL, but still had different levels of success. Um, you just
yeah.
couldn't. a more humble, everybody understands each other type of quarterback room.
Yeah, for sure. The coaching staff has been outrageous. At this point, you have to give Kevin O'Connell Coach of the Year. I know you can say Dan Campbell, whatever. We have the same
All
amount of
right.
wins as them right now, but the way that we did it with Sam Darnold as a bridge quarterback, like they had Jared Goff last year, right? And you can look at maybe
Ivan Pace
the
Jr., Van
Commanders.
Ginkel, Cashman,
Just yeah,
Redmond, Darnold, Aaron Jones.
yeah, yeah,
Shut up. Like, no
yeah.
one thrown it together like this.
Yeah, yeah, he's been very exciting to watch. I think he's gotten better and better every year as a head coach. We win one score games now. I just had the confidence when we were down three in this Seattle game that we were going to go down and score a touchdown. I just had that feeling. And then
Yeah.
that play where Sam Darnold steps up in the pocket and catches JJ on the outside, JJ Justin Jefferson, mind you, on the outside route, bananaing to the end zone. It was like incredible, and the way that he threw it, the way he threw it where only JJ could catch it. It was something. It was something of beauty. They have something figured out with that team. Addison too. Hawkinson, those guys. It's nice to see Hawk back. I know he doesn't really um, get the targets that he used to prior, but they go to him on third down early and often. Did you see that toe tapping catch against the Seahawks? Nice. He's a nice player to have.
Yeah,
I
he
think,
still has a lot of room to show himself too. And every game, like you're talking about, he's finally showing like remnants of his old self again. There's
yeah,
little things going on.
yeah. I think with the ACL, I'm sure some of our listeners have torn it before. It takes about a year or so after. Like he probably won't be right until like next year, right? But he can still contribute. He can still do things.
Well,
But
Pat's going to find himself in the damn Pro Bowl, bro. Right?
I don't
Like
know about that. People are going to say Laporta is better, and there's an argument for that.
he's got 2 games to prove it though. He could do enough in these next 2 games and find himself in the Pro Bowl, I feel like.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
based on hype alone, it's just because he's young, he's swaggy. It's a political situation to get the Pro Bowl. Everybody knows that. Like,
yeah,
Justin Jefferson would have to kind of vouch for him a little bit and do some of those
yeah,
moves.
yeah, yeah.
But I
It
could
might
see,
be a stretch there just because he hasn't played as many games and he was out for a minute there to start the season. But yeah, again, looking forward to this Packers game. It's going to be a nice litmus. These are all litmus tests for us. I said that going into the Seattle game as well. I was like, we haven't beaten them since what 2005. Went on the road and took care of business in that rainy environment. There was a lot of adversity in that game too. We had um, Geno Smith was playing very well early in the game. They were finding Njigba and DK Metcalf. Our corners did look a little sus at point. Gilmore got beat pretty bad. That was a question mark for me. Let's see how he rebounds now. I know the Packers have some nice receivers like Dobbs and Watson, and those guys are playing very well. So it is a worrisome game, but yeah, I'm just worried about the pass rush, the Packers pass rush, and how are we going to do protecting Sam Darnold, whatnot. That's the only thing that really sticks out for me is our interior line slash left side of our offensive line and how easy Sam Darnold goes down. Those things are troublesome for me. So
and I think for me, it comes down to our defense's willingness to be wildly aggressive in these types of games, like making sure that we don't pump the brakes in the moments that everything starts to get tight in the playoffs. This team, we need to start to feel playoff energy right away. And there's a different level that everybody has to come to. And you don't know what teams turn it on and what don't. That's why,
right,
again, that's why I'm scared of the Rams because I'm like, I know that the Rams know the energy, the different type of swag that has to show up for you in these types of moments. That's why I'm not scared of Detroit because they have no fucking idea what a playoff game looks like.
yeah,
Never
yeah,
they have no idea. They've never been in one that mattered. And we at least have a coaching personnel that can tell these guys, hey, the playoffs start this week. And if anything, you could start to feel a little bit of that, the dial turn up last week for sure. But now, end of the season Packers, do we have the ability to harm their chances of even being in the playoffs? Because if
No,
we lose out, they still
Packers are in no matter what. None of these teams are wild card worthy. It's at this point it's just between the Rams and the Seahawks. What's going to come down to their division, and then it's Atlanta and the other team, Buccaneers. So,
that
but
is unbelievable that
those
all three of
teams,
us have that.
yeah, yeah, everyone's locked in and ready to go. There is no wild cards that are able to like be taken. Let me make sure that yeah, I believe so. So. Um, that's what it is. I mean, we're really late in the year here, man. Like, but it was nice to see the Eagles lose. That means they're pretty much out of contention now for that final seed. They have a small chance, but I don't think it'll happen.
And because they are one of those weird, scary teams in the playoffs, especially with like Saquon and stuff. It's good to see those guys be gone.
Yeah, I'm worried if we have a road playoff game with them, that's going to suck. But
What team are you most scared of?
probably the Eagles right now. I mean, we're not going to see Detroit until it's way later in the year, right? So Let me look at the playoff bracket with what's happening.
Wait, I think you
Yeah,
said the Eagles are out.
we could potentially play them with a road game because they won a division, or we
Oh, they
could
did.
go.
Okay, because Cowboys are now for sure out, right? They like even sitting CeeDee Lamb and everything.
They're done.
They're
They're
shutting it
done.
down.
They can't make the playoffs after that. One of the games last week, they're officially eliminated. So it just comes down to the Bucks, Seahawks. Commanders are pretty much entrenched in that last wild card spot, and then it's just whether or not the Seahawks or the Bucks or the Rams or the Falcons are going to make the playoffs.
Yeah,
Shockingly, the Falcons might make it
little
with
CC fight.
with Penix. What's up, CC?
But
How's she
I would
doing?
agree with you. I'm scared of the Eagles, and then again, I'll say it again. I'm scared of the Rams. Those are the only teams I'm scared of in the playoffs on our side.
Are you going to that game then? If it's in LA,
I hope so.
yeah, think you'll make it happen.
We don't know. The tickets are so expensive right now.
I bet, yeah.
They're unreasonable.
Hmm.
Hey, you want to come back up? All right.
But we'll chat next week though. We'll get more clarity after this Packers game. We'll see where we're at if we can escape without injuries. That's the main thing. I'm not like too sad about it if we end up losing this game. I just want us to see how we respond, circle the wagons against the Lions and whatnot. They might sit a bunch of guys then too if we lose and they win. It might be one of those like dead lame duck games. So
What do you think the score's gonna be?
it's tough. The line has moved quite a bit. I've been watching it. It opened at we were advantage, and I think they gave it back to the Packers now. Let me look at it right now. Oh, so it's -1.5. They're giving a slight edge to the Packers right now, but I find that hard to believe. I
Why
think
would
it was just a little bit of a high for them after they beat the Saints 34-0. And what they
it's in
got five
Minneapolis.
guys
So
questionable. What's up?
Isn't it in Minneapolis or is that
It's in Minneapolis, yeah.
yeah? So they're actually giving them way more points.
Yeah, I don't. It's a
That's crazy.
-1.5. Yeah, they gave him two, but we got one, two, three, four, five.
Take that bet and make it.
We got 10 Packers that are either doubtful or questionable. And we have a couple dudes that are out, but we have what? We have excuse me here. But yeah, we're essentially like we talked about it, we're as healthy as they can come right now at this point of the year. We have one starter out.
Vikings Banter that. So what do you say? What do you think?
I think we got him. I think it'll be a high scoring game though, like a 34-31 kind of thing. We'll nip him in the butt at the end just because this team is too good. And I think Jordan Love isn't that great. Luke and I will talk about that all day. He doesn't deserve that 65 or what is he making 55 million a year now? Like I'm not totally sold. I like our squad. We're totally swagged out. We're on a high then after that road victory. And coming back home, I think we play a little different ball when we're at home. I think we'll get after the quarterback. The crowd will be loud. It'll get crazy in there, and I think we come away with a W. This team has proven all year we can win games under pressure and adversity like this. And like I said about week 5, this is the best Vikings team we've seen in franchise history. At this point, we're tied for the second best record. So we're up there with at least 2 or 3 best seasons we've ever had right now, period.
I'd enjoy it.
So I'm a little bit higher on this team than some people are, but I think we should beat the Packers, and then I think it'll be one of those NFC North Championship games going into Week 18 at Detroit. So cross your fingers if we win that, then we're the number 1 seed and we have a first round bye. Think about how sick that would be. And then we're also hosting playoff games at US Bank for the rest of the year. That's awesome until we go to the Super Bowl. So here we
Yeah,
are.
it's
I'm
better.
delusional as ever, but I'm feeling the love. I'm feeling the mojo here. This team is swagged out, and I see no reason why we'd lose to the Packers, other than like I aforementioned the pressure or something stupid mistake by Sam Darnold, because he is fallible. He does throw picks, but in recent games he has not. So yeah, then what do we have? The point total is 48.5, and we're minus 1.5 point favorites when usually you give 3 to the home team, so you give 2 back the other. What's your thoughts? I say 34-31 Vikings. We
So
do the over.
no, I think so. You're saying 48 and a half.
Yeah,
I'm going 28-24. I think it's going to be,
Vikes. Okay.
yeah, I think it's going to be a little sloppier of a game than your 35. I think it's going to get it's going to be a messy game. I think there's a lot of picks. I think there's some, there's odd turnovers throughout. Um, just because I do think Sam Darnold will get a little beat up this game, and I also
Okay.
think our defense will respond. So, um, yeah. So 28-24. So that would leave me still. I'd still be under the over there, huh?
28-20. Yeah, you'd be at what, 49? You'd be sneaking right over the over. It'd be
I'd be in
close.
the
It'd be
over.
close.
Okay. Oh yeah, because I'm at 52. Yeah, okay. You're right.
Do you see this being a punt fest or no? I can't.
No, I think it's no, I don't. I know. I think it's like people going for it on fourth. I think that it's people getting backed up to third and longs because of big sacks, and I think it's more turnovers than punting back. And I don't think it's gonna be a boring game. I just think it's gonna be a little sloppy, and there's gonna be a lot of turnovers and stuff like that. Um, Not necessarily always ugly turnovers, just like you're in the thick of it. People are some fumbles, big hits, all the jazz.
Interesting.
Hopefully
Yeah.
it's not Aaron Jones fumbling. He better not fumble for the rest of the year. He's done. His whole allotment is done.
Packers have a safety, Xavier McKinney, with 7 interceptions. But what's weird is they don't have a guy with more than 6.5 sacks, and we have 3 guys that have over 6.5.
That's awesome.
So
All
yeah,
right. Well, over and out. SKOL. God bless you all. Appreciate you for jumping on here, Johnny.
yeah, yeah. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, all that, and we'll talk to you soon. Hopefully with a Vikings victory that we have to chat about next week.
SKOL.
All right, talk to you.
Ended here.